Welcome to the Crack House Chronicles, your favorite true crime podcast. I am Donnie, and with me is a man that wants to remind everyone that a piñata is not a good idea for a Halloween costume. It's Dale.
Yeah, they'll take a ass beating on that.
Yeah, you can't beat that costume with a stick.
See, I mean, my sound effect machine, man.
We do need a sound effect machine, don't we?
It'd be like iCarly all over again.
Oh, yeah, it would. Yeah, iCarly with the podcast.
Hey, cool stuff.
Yeah. What's going on, dude?
You, man.
No, it ain't me.
Yeah.
I'm just glad to be in your presence.
Presents, is it Christmas time?
Yeah, well, yeah, the decorations are out, so yes, it's Christmas time.
Yeah, no doubt. Not even Halloween yet, and we already got Christmas stuff everywhere. It's crazy.
Well, if you don't have your Easter decorations out, then you're way behind, man.
Even my Easter outfit.
Your bonnet.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got any good shout-outs, dude, or anybody you want to mention right quick?
We'd like to say we really appreciate Brandy Kennard, I guess. Kennard, hope I didn't butcher your name, for the Facebook recommendations she put out, saying better late than never. She's just loving the CHC. And we love you for that recommendation.
And we love the CHC as well.
We do.
Mm-hmm. And we love our listeners.
We do. We love them. Won't you marry them? Won't you marry them?
Yep. And if anybody wants to go to Apple Podcast and rate and review, please do it.
Yes.
It really, really helps. Click that 5-star and write something in the box.
Yeah, and everybody delete Samsung stuff because they won't put us on.
No, all of our stuff's there. It's just not showing up on Samsung. I don't know why. So
I'm not happy about it.
I've given up on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need them. We got all you guys.
Yeah. We got plenty of listeners, and we got plenty of downloads going on.
Yeah, we're so thankful.
Yep.
And you guys are awesome.
Hey, and it's getting cooler weather, so if anybody wants to go over to the store page and get them a hoodie, something cool to wear.
I'm going to get me one.
Yeah. Go over and do it.
I'm going to get me another one, actually.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, get you one.
I got one and about 17 T-shirts, so I think I need another hoodie.
Well, you need another hoodie. Yeah.
I'm a walking billboard, you know.
Yeah, you are. Every time I see you, Dale, you have a Crack House T-shirt.
Yeah, somebody's got to wear it.
Yeah.
Might as well be me.
That man is a walking billboard. All right, nothing else, dude.
All right, now let's get down to it.
We're going to get on to this episode.
Nobody's yelling at us for taking too much time.
Yeah, they'll yell. I mean, we always hear something.
Yeah, as long as they're saying something, we don't give a shit, do we?
But we have a pretty interesting case this week, dude.
We do. It's kind of local Halloween related.
Halloweeny?
This part of the year, fair's over, and your kind of weather's coming in, and it's getting a little chilly, and let's get into it.
But this is kind of a Halloween story.
It is.
Yeah, to sort of set the mood in the season for Halloween.
All right.
But today we are talking about Chelsea Bruck.
Yes.
B-R-U-C-K.
Bruck, yep.
Her full name is Chelsea Ellen Bruck, and she was born on January the 28th of 1992 in Trenton, Michigan, to parents Leanda Bruck and Matt Bruck. And she was the youngest of 5 kids. She had 2 sisters and 2 brothers. Now, Chelsea grew up in a small town there in Michigan, Dale, called Maybe.
Maybe?
Maybe.
Was it Maybe?
Maybe was the name of the town.
Okay.
Maybee.
It's kind of small, like 600 residents.
Yeah, very, very small, man. Yeah. Everybody knew everybody.
Farm town, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure everybody still knows everybody there, if you live there.
Maybe.
Yeah. But now, Chelsea, like I said, she was the youngest of 5 kids, and she was described as a super nice and super friendly, sweet country girl.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's small town chickadee.
Yeah. But she was 22 years old at the time of this story we're talking about, and she was working at a place called Olga's Kitchen.
Olga.
Yeah, it was it's a restaurant in Monroe County, and it's a Mediterranean restaurant. And I'm not sure exactly what a Mediterranean restaurant is. I've never been to one, but that's what it was.
It's kind of odd being in a tiny town like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but, well, this is in Monroe County, so I'm sure.
Like that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, she worked there with her friend Rebecca, right?
Yeah.
Rebecca Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But now, the day we're talking about is October the 25th of 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And Chelsea and Becky, they were going to go to a Halloween party.
Yeah, they've been planning this for a long time.
For a while.
I was going to say months, but I'm not sure it was months. But.
Yeah, probably weeks, I would imagine.
Yeah.
It was a huge Halloween party, man.
Well, it's annual, so it could have been for months, but I'm not sure. You know.
Yeah. But it was called Big Mike's Halloween Bash.
Big Mike.
Yeah. His name's Mike Williams, but we're just going to call him Big Mike.
Big Mike.
And he played in a metal band, like a thrash metal band.
Yeah, Screamo or something.
Yeah, and the name of their band was
Pickaxe Preachers.
Pickaxe Preacher.
Was it Preachers or Preacher?
Preacher.
Okay.
No, yes.
There's just one. Okay.
Yeah. That's what they were going to do that night.
Okay.
But the weeks leading up to this, Chelsea and Becky, they had made up their costumes.
Right. They decided they were going to go as Batman villains.
Yeah, they were.
And I'm not sure what Rebecca's costume was.
I have
never seen.
I have tried to find out what her costume was, but
Right.
haven't been able to find it.
But Chelsea was going to go as Poison Ivy.
Yeah, from Batman.
Right.
Yeah, and she'd worked hard on that.
It was a homemade costume.
Yeah,
handmade, I should say.
Yeah, she got some green leotards and sewn some plastic ivy leaves to it and made it up pretty good. And had her some red shoes, like flat shoes that she got at American Eagle.
Yes, pretty cool stuff, man.
And she even had a bottle of wine that she changed the label on and had the word poison on it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Make the costume complete, if you will.
And she also had like a purple
plum, like a plum color.
Yeah, wig.
Yeah, and those shoes like some red Mary Jane style shoes.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what she's looking for.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, like mine.
But it had been reported, Dale, they showed up to this party at around 10 o'clock that night. And they were just walking around having a good time. Chelsea was drinking out of her wine bottle, but she never did finish it, they said. And she was just sort of, I guess, tipsy, just having a good time.
Yeah, feeling good, man.
Yeah, just partying.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Not
22, don't care. You got it going on.
But they said she was not drunk.
Right.
So just having a good time.
Yeah, just so you know.
But it was a big party. They were expected to be about 300 people show up, Dale.
Yeah, but when Big Mike got on Facebook and I think he had sent it out to like over 1,000 people on his invite.
Yeah.
And he was expecting about 3 to show up.
Yeah. But get this. They were close to 800 plus people there that night.
Now that's a party.
That's a party, man. And been reported they had 2 tents set up. And 8 bands booked that night.
Yeah, 2 big tents, and they had 8 metal bands playing that night. So it was going to be pretty cool. And then after that, I think you're going to have a big bonfire and some other stuff.
Yep. But the last of the bands, I think, finished playing around midnight or closely after midnight.
Correct.
But yeah, Chelsea and Becky, they were just walking around having a good time. And there was some point, it wasn't long after they got there, that Chelsea had ran into a tent pole.
Well, what happened is, if I'm not mistaken, what happened is when the last band played, Big Mike he went over and lit the bonfire, and it was a huge bonfire. And they were leaving the tent from watching the bands to go over to the bonfire.
Yeah.
So when she was ducking out of the tent, she had hit a tent pole across the bridge of her nose.
Yeah, like a low-hanging tent pole.
Yes.
And I think it hurt her pretty bad.
Well, when you walk into something, hit you in the nose, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like she was a bloody nose, but it just hit her right across the bridge, I think.
Yeah, and
you could see some stars probably, say some bad words.
Probably did. But she was ready to leave then.
Yeah.
And she was wanting to go home.
Right.
But now, one thing we failed to mention that Chelsea did not have a driver's license.
That's right.
Everywhere she wanted to go, she had to bum a ride.
Yeah, and it wasn't like she had problems drinking and all this kind of had it taken. She just never had one and never really had any use for one, or as far as had to have it, which is odd to me because I went and got mine the first day I was eligible.
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, but her parents took her to work and anywhere she needed to go and everything, so she just never really cared anything about getting it. So she just didn't have one.
And like I said, she was the youngest of 5 kids, and she was the only one still living at home.
Right.
Yeah. But
so she didn't drive.
No, but she had taken that ride to the party, and at some point that they got separated at the party.
Yeah,
at this bonfire.
Yeah, well, there was 3 of them that was hanging out, and it was Becky and Chelsea and another friend named Penny.
Yes.
Yeah, and they were all hanging out. And as they were going over to the fire, I think the bands were over just a little after midnight. They left the tent and was going to the bonfire, and then they got separated.
Yeah.
And then, Chelsea, when she hit her nose, she was ready to go home. Well, if that was the point, they were coming out of that tent. After that, I think Penny had to go to work the next day. So about 1 o'clock in the morning, she was like, we need to go. Well, they couldn't find Chelsea nowhere. So they just figured, well, she can find somebody else. She knows a lot of people at this party that can give her a ride home. Yeah. So they just left. And that kind of pisses me off.
Yeah, when I heard all that rubbed me the wrong way.
I mean, especially when she wanted to go home. I mean, if this is 1:30, it's not even been an hour or so since she wanted to go home. You talked her into staying. And then when you couldn't find her, you just left her.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty crappy.
It is. And I'm sure they feel bad about it or whatever. But,
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just kind of odd. I wouldn't leave my friend there to a party of 800 people. But anyway, I don't know if we mentioned this or not. Once she made her costume down here, it wasn't no pockets.
Yeah, she didn't make any pockets in it for her stuff.
So those girls had her phone too.
Yeah.
I think Becky was holding on to it for her because she had no pockets and nowhere to keep it. So they couldn't call her. She couldn't call them.
Yeah.
So
she was stuck at that party with no communication. Chelsea they'd lost her. They couldn't find her there around the bonfire, everybody hanging out there. Because you got 800 people standing around.
Yeah.
Partying.
It's going to be a mess.
It's going to be just a cluster.
And everybody's been there a good long time.
Yeah.
They're all drinking. Everybody's got on a costume.
Yeah.
So it's just a big blur of people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah.
But, she just wanted to leave not even an hour before. And they talked her in the stand.
Yeah.
And then they go and they decide, well, and I understand the girl's got to leave to go to work. But you already promised us that you would take her home. And you have her phone.
Yeah.
So, man, it just kind of gets a little iffy to me. Even though if you think, well, she gets a ride from people all the time. She's probably knows somebody here. She's going to catch a ride home, no problem.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, she did use some other people's phone that night because they said, it was reported that they'd seen her sitting around later on in the evening, crying and whatever. And, whether she was drinking a little more or she just couldn't get a ride and was cold and sitting out here and didn't know anybody or what. But she had used up to 6 people's phones to make phone calls and actually did get a hold. And I'm pretty sure it was Penny that she got a hold of. And if I'm mistaken, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah, because she'd called Penny to try to get her ride back.
Yeah, and Penny trying to do the right thing on her own part, to be responsible, and said, no, I'm sorry, I've been drinking too much and I ain't got no business driving.
Yeah.
But you'd also promised her you would give her a ride home, and then she finally gets a phone to call you, and then you turn her down again after you left her.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's just pretty.
Yeah. But now, it wasn't until later the next night, Dale, that Chelsea's sister sent Becky a Facebook message.
Right.
Telling her that Chelsea had not come home.
Right.
And she was like, oh, she's probably at a friend's or just something. Yeah. And she'll show up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Maybe she went with somebody and then they went somewhere and ate breakfast, went back and crashed or whatever.
Yeah. Just sleeping it off.
Yeah. So nobody, it's a small town. Nobody's thinking anything bad at this point.
And still no one had heard from her. Her family ended up calling the police.
Yes.
And they called her friends, and they actually ended up calling Big Mike.
Big Mike.
And hoping they'd get some answers when they talked to Big Mike. And he said he was actually getting all kinds of text and Facebook messages and all kinds of stuff asking if he'd seen Chelsea.
Right. And, he said, I really didn't even know who they were talking about it, because he didn't know her personally.
Yeah.
So he was like, I don't know. So, but he would, say he would go out and look through the fields, make sure, she wasn't drunk or fell down or broke her leg or, or just was just out there by herself somewhere.
Yeah, because when they had this party, Dale, it was on a big property.
Large piece of property.
Yeah, it was Big Mike's mom's property.
Right.
And it was a big old field.
Giant.
Yes.
Yeah. With a little house in the corner and the rest of it just an open field.
Yeah. Yeah, so he said he'd get out there and look around, and he did. He got out there and walked around, walked a couple miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, took his dog, and I guess they just had a good walking around trying to find something, because he said he would, and that's what they did.
Right, and they got a couple miles out in the field with him and his dog, like you said, and the dog had got caught in a fox trap.
Yeah.
And hurt his paw pretty bad.
Yeah.
So he ended up carrying his pup back to the house, and once he got back to the house, he walked up, and Chelsea's mom was sitting in his driveway.
Yes.
So kind of freaked him out, I think.
Yeah. So he told her, he said, I've got to take my dog to the vet, but you're welcome to hang out here.
Hang out here and go look for her or whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what she did. So he went, go get his dog looked at, and by the time he comes back, there was a couple of deputies and about 15 people on his property.
Yeah.
They had already set up tents, had a generator and a porta-john, like they had set up a command post, and all this without even asking if that was okay. Yeah,
they made a headquarters out of that farm.
Yeah.
Looking for Chelsea.
Which is kind of crazy. So I'm sure he was like, whoa, wait a damn minute.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you do? I mean, they're fully committed, to looking for her daughter.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of odd that they didn't ask if they could do it first. Guess they didn't care at this point. Everything is more important than ask permission.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those ask forgiveness, not permission kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Big Mike, he called his lawyer, and his lawyer pretty much told him that, you could probably say something about it, but it'd probably be best not to.
Right.
If you're
Well,
not
you can
hurting
run them
anything.
off, but then you're going to look like the dick in the case.
Yeah, you're going to
right.
be the bad guy. So
Right.
just, let them look and do what they have to do if you're not hurting anything.
Right.
Yeah, because there were law enforcement out there. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but they looked, and then until way up into Monday evening, and then about this time is when Chelsea's mom kind of turned on Mike and confronted him.
Yeah.
Accused him of having her hid somewhere.
Yeah, she went up to him and said, "You've got her hid. You've got her in your basement or in a building somewhere. What have you done with my daughter?"
I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he was floored right there.
Yeah.
And right there you're thinking about there's like over 800 people there, and every suspect was in the damn costume. But
yeah, that's what's crazy because, it makes for a perfect crime.
yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
You can't describe
Like
anybody, really.
Exactly. So.
What do you look like? Oh, you look like Batman. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and I'm sure by this time the media's starting to, roll in on the farm too. So just being a full out damn command post, and it's just getting a little much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Mike realized all this is going to do when he's just having his annual party, and then all of a sudden this is going on.
Yeah. And even Chelsea's mom said that if she knew that they were going to be over that many people there, she would not let her daughter go, even, her being 22.
Yeah, if she knew it was going to be that size of party, ain't no damn way she'd let her go.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I get it.
Yeah, it's their, the baby living at home. You just don't want to let them go. Plus going to something. Hell, I don't know if I want to go to a party that damn many people.
Yeah, it'll be bad.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah. But now volunteers, they were joining Facebook groups and creating Facebook groups and trying to get the word out. They were putting up missing poster flyers, and the media was getting involved.
Mm-hmm.
Local news stations were getting involved.
Right, especially be lookout, for her costume, because it was very
Obvious.
I mean, yeah, but it was kind of
It stood out.
I don't want to say rare, because that ain't what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it stood out because it was one of a kind. There we go.
Yeah, because she'd made it.
Right.
But Chelsea was 5'7". She was blonde and just average build, and she also had an anchor tattoo behind her right ear.
Right. Yeah, and they were setting up vigils and had tip lines going. Everything was going. They're doing everything they can do at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, trying to find her and see what the hell's going on here.
Yep. And now there were two detectives. Their names were Brian Straka and Mike Priedmore, and they were the main detectives on this case throughout the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
They started going to neighboring farms to have searches, and the biggest issue that they were running into was the fact that this happened from a place with, like we said, 800 people and in costume.
Right. Right. Everybody's in a disguise already, so
yeah.
It's so shit. It's just hard.
And they did discover that Chelsea had used other people's cell phone to call for help.
Right.
And one of the people she called was Penny, like we said.
Yep.
Now, there was a couple days after the party, Dale, there was a woman called the detectives, and her son said he saw Chelsea at about 3:30 a.m., and it was the night of the party.
So this is 2 hours after
Yeah.
friends had left.
And he was sure it was her because she had talked about her costume.
Yeah.
And he remembered talking about his own allergic reactions to poison ivy, which is, they thought it was kind of funny.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But he said there was a man that was with her, and they seemed like they knew each other pretty well.
Or he was just kind of standing over her.
Yeah.
Like semi-acting like he's trying to comfort her or something.
Yeah.
But, he did say she was a little tipsy while he was talking to her.
Yeah.
So this guy's kind of weird.
But he did say that she was a little frazzled and was wanting to go home.
Right.
And she couldn't find her friends, but he described that guy as a lurker.
He's kind of tall, slender, swoopy, emo hair with glasses.
Mm-hmm.
And then those two kind of left his presence at the same time. So they just kind of, I guess he kind of took her and walked off from this guy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The way it sounds.
Yep. They did do a sketch of this guy, and it was released immediately. And they got bombarded with phone calls, tips, because
at this time everybody looked like an emo type.
Yeah, they looked like this. And they even showed the picture to Big Mike, and he said, several people in several bands that looked like that.
Yeah. At least, 2 or 3 members of one band said, actually, I could even take you to a bar right now where everybody in that bar looks like this guy.
Yeah, they all resemble each other.
So it's another dead end in a way, even though he thought it was a really good lead. So, but they did go check those guys in the band he talked about, and the FBI did, and they all had alibis, so They all checked out, went on.
And they even asked Mike if it was okay to search his house.
Yeah.
And he told them no.
He said, no.
Nope.
So, you know what happens then.
Yeah, they went and got a search warrant.
Come back with the whole SWAT team.
Yep. And he had to let them search his house.
Oh, yeah, what are you going to do then?
Yeah, he had to.
Yeah, so they searched the whole house. They searched all the fire pits, everything around the grounds. I'm sure they searched it pretty well, but they didn't find anything.
But they still considered him a person of interest.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout all this.
Oh, I'm sure.
But he maintained that he had nothing to do.
Yeah.
Or didn't even know her.
Right.
But then, as the search for Big Mike's place was going on, there was another tip that got called in. It was about a guy named Harlan Bird.
Correct.
And this guy, they got him in for an interview.
Mm-hmm.
He said he did go to the party that night with his best friend, and he witnessed two men harassing a woman in the parking area, I guess, where they parked their cars there at the party.
Yeah, correct.
And they were shoving a woman around, like assaulting her, yelling.
Well, he made it sound like they were just pushing her around between them two, and yelling at her and raising hell.
And he went over there and fought them off and
picked her up off the ground.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And he said during that struggle, when he fought him off and he was comforting her, he got a little bit of blood on his shirt.
Right.
Like from her face or something.
Yeah, when he picked Chelsea up off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he was comforting her, he left some on his shoulder.
But there was a car there, and he described it as a red 4-door car, and it was open, and she was sitting in the car.
Right, well, he found one that was unlocked and put her in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said once he put her in the car, he was going to go walk back to the party, see if he could find some of her friends.
Yeah.
And then when he came back, the car and her was gone.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a little weird to me.
That is very weird.
How the hell is he going to find her friends? He don't even know who her friends are.
And you got 800 people there.
Yeah.
Walking around. Yeah, that just doesn't make any sense.
She couldn't find them, and she knows who she's looking for. Yeah, it's kind of odd.
So they went back to the blood he said he got on his shirt from saving her.
Right.
And they pressed him about the shirt and asked him if he still had the shirt. And he said he did. And he had asked if washing it would...
We said his girlfriend probably had washed it.
Yeah.
So there's like, what? And he goes, yeah. He goes, but can you still get the evidence even if she's washed it? I'm like, well, no.
Mm-mm.
Bummer.
Yeah, he claimed that she had a bloody nose, and then he said he didn't see a bloody nose, but he assumed she had a bloody nose.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, it being dark...
It'd be hard to tell.
It would. I'll give him that much anyway.
Yeah, so if you was like kind of holding the girl up to you and had her head on your shoulder or something, you don't really know where it came from. If it was just a speck or something, it's not like it said he was running down his shirt or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to tell.
But he was making himself out to be kind of like a little hero kind of guy, saving her. And
Harlan the hero.
Harlan Bird. That was his name.
Yeah, it's Harlan the hero.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, they're kind of looking at him a little bit sideways, especially when we start talking about blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they've got Big Mike and Harlan Bird on their radar right now.
Yep.
This Harlan Bird, he denied doing any harm to Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm sure they started turning up the heat a little bit on him
during the interrogation.
Really
Yeah. And he said no way that he would do anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they kept pressing him.
Yeah.
And that's when a big confession came in.
Yeah, because his story just get a little inconsistent, as they say.
Yeah. And that's when he admitted that he made the whole story up just to look good.
Damn, told you. He's want to be a hero.
Yeah. So he's wasted time.
Time and energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when people could really be looking for something, they're in there talking to this clown.
And he's coming in there saying, yeah, I made it up just to look good.
The whole story up.
But now there was a huge prayer vigil for Chelsea and her family, and they were still clinging to the hope that she was going to return home.
Mm-hmm.
And her mom even said to the press that it's not a hope, it's a reality.
Yeah, she just knew she's coming home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was as positive as she could be. And even had one of the girls come up to her and tell her that I was Chelsea's friend, and she corrected her and said, no, you are her friend.
Yes.
So she was definitely on top of it. But
the headquarters for the Chelsea search moved from the farm where they had the party to I think it's an empty bank.
Yeah, vacant bank.
Yeah, there in Monroe.
In the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they still had up flyers and posters and purple ribbons, which was Chelsea's favorite color.
Yeah, said they're all over town.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
But no sign of Chelsea at all.
No.
But then there was a woman from Toledo that contacted the police, and she said her ex-boyfriend had confessed to her that he killed Chelsea.
Yeah.
And her name was
Carrie Carr.
Carrie Carr.
This girl, the Carrie Carr, she came in, and this was she was talking about her ex-boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So they had broken up, so I guess now she figured she could tell what he had told her. You know what I mean? She don't have to try to protect him. That's what the deal was.
Yeah.
So he came in and said he had left with Chelsea and ended up killing her and dumping her body in a Toledo cemetery. And then she also threatened to kill her too if she ever told anybody. So she told the detectives that, she was scared of her ex, and she insisted that he be arrested and brought in, but she didn't want him just brought in and questioned and released because they lived on the same street.
Yeah, and he would come after her.
He would come after her, yeah. But they didn't really care what she said, but they knew. I mean, as far as question and release, they went straight to him to get him to question him.
Yeah.
They couldn't waste no time.
That's right.
Right.
But now, after they brought her back in after a long interview, she admitted that she was lying just to get back at her ex.
Right. Well, they talked to the boyfriend, and he told them right away, that this girl's just trying to get me arrested.
Yeah.
We had we broke up, and she's just, I don't know. I don't think he said she was crazy or whatever, but anyway, she said, that we had broken up, and she was just a ploy to get me arrested.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's when they brought her back in and talked to her again, and then that's when she admitted she was lying too.
That's just crazy. That's just messed up.
Everybody just trying to get in on this mess.
But Carrie got arrested, and Harlan had got arrested for lying to the police.
Correct, and they should have been.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, now later the next March, Dale,
okay,
there was a woman named Cheryl Retzler. She called into the police and said she found something on the edge of her property, and now her property was about 2.3 miles away from where the party was.
Yes.
And this Cheryl said she was cleaning up some debris and stuff that I guess it fell during the winter along the road, the tree line there of her property is what it was.
Yeah.
And she ended up finding a red flat leather Mary Jane type shoe from American Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
And she said she initially just threw it in the trash. And
she just had her bag out there, picking up
trash,
chucking in there, trying to clean up the roadside.
Yeah, I'll pick up her trash out here on my road too.
Right.
And when she went home, she talked to her husband, and he'd always ask her, "Did you find anything cool? Did you see anything you picked up?" And she had mentioned the shoe to her husband.
And that's when he perked right up.
Yeah, a light bulb went off in his head.
Yeah, she hadn't even put it together.
And he even said, "Do you think it could belong to that girl?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they both...
And it hit her.
Yeah.
Yep.
They could possibly belong to Chelsea.
Correct.
And the police were very interested in this, and they went over there and took a picture of this shoe. And they texted it to Chelsea's mom, Leanda.
Mm-hmm.
And she pretty much identified it as Chelsea's shoe.
Yep, definitely it.
Yeah.
That ain't good.
Yep. And they searched all around the area where the shoe was found, and they found nothing else related to Chelsea.
Yeah, and then she had said that where she lived, probably hundreds of those people would have come by her down her road.
Yeah.
So, there's no telling when it got there or how or who.
Yeah, or how they ended up there or anything.
Right.
And it was like she took off her shoe and they just threw it out or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And a little while later, there was a guy named Eric Asab, and his friend, they were out trying to make some money. And this is what they were doing. They were stealing pieces of like scrap metal.
It was scrapping. That's what I call it around
here. Yeah. They were getting it from abandoned buildings.
Yeah.
And they were in a half-collapsed abandoned building. This is about 10 miles from where the party was.
Yes.
This is when Eric found something kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
And he initially thought it was just a plant.
Yeah, well, he said he looked over and he found there was a piece of plywood laying in there. So he went over, and when he lifted up the plywood, that's when he saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looked like a plant. And when he got closer, he realized that it was a costume.
Mm-hmm. He saw all those ivy leaves and stuff sewn to that. Mm-hmm. And that's what it was.
And next to the costume was a plum-colored wig.
Yep.
The same one that Chelsea was wearing the night she went missing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and he didn't realize what's going on. So he just kind of picked it up and then saw what it was. It was a costume, just a random costume. So he just laid it back down.
Yeah.
Didn't think nothing of it.
Yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But a little bit later, he saw a missing persons poster with the costume on it.
It was a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, wow.
So he went and talked to his sister.
He was getting nervous.
Yeah.
Because
he had touched it.
Yeah. I would get nervous too.
Hell yeah.
I had it in my hand. I'm like, oh my gosh. So like Dale said, he went to his sister and what should I do? What should I do?
And then she's like, well, either you call him or I will.
Yeah.
We got to report it.
Yeah, he called the police and reported it.
Yeah. So they brought him in for questioning.
Yeah.
Yes.
They didn't blame him for being nervous. You know, I mean, I would get nervous for something like that.
Heck yeah. It'd be like that fella had the hat in the last episode.
Yeah. But when they got the costume, they saw that it had been ripped at the straps and the crotch, too.
It had been ripped out of it, yeah.
Because it was a leotard, and it was sent to the state crime lab while police and investigators searched the building where these two guys were scrapping.
Yeah, and all the surrounding area and everything. Just trying to see as much stuff as they could find. And
they also brought Eric into the police station to interview him.
Correct.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, he'd be scared to death.
I would be too.
Heck yeah. And they said they were asking him stuff, and he didn't know really anything about stuff. He just went ahead and told you, said, I want to go ahead and tell you right now that my baby's mother, lives on the same road. That shoe was found the other day. So just so you know, I'm trying to give you everything out front. I'm not hiding nothing.
Yeah, and he was willing to take a polygraph and everything he needed to do to clear his name, which I get it.
DNA or whatever you want me to do.
He was offering up DNA too, yeah.
Yeah.
But it started looking pretty good for Eric because the police, I think they were believing him.
Yes.
And they weren't too concerned with him at the moment.
Yeah, but guess what we're going to have here? About right here where there's abandoned building and where the wig and the costume is found, it was only like 100 yards from where Harlan Bird lived.
Yeah, that's what's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, just less than 100 yards.
So it's not looking too good for Harlan Bird.
No, actually, his mobile home was just directly across the street from his building.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Yeah, a light bulb went off in the detective's head, too. They're like,
We're going to have to call you back.
So this time they called Harlan back in, and he came in with an attorney deal.
Yes.
Yeah. And he denied it again. He denied everything. He admitted and that he had been to the abandoned building before, but something must be trying to...
Somebody's trying to frame me, man.
Trying to frame him, yeah.
Yeah, because I've been over to that building before, but I damn sure didn't put that stuff in there. And everything I told you before was a lie.
I made it all up.
I never even saw a girl.
And that's when he decided to take a polygraph, and he gave some DNA too.
Right.
And he passed the polygraph.
He passed it.
Yeah.
Man, don't you know he's having a heart attack after going there and make up all that story about this stuff?
So Harlan is pretty much cleared.
Yeah.
So we're going to move a little bit ahead to April the 24th of 2015. And this is about 7 miles from where the party at Big Mike's house was.
Okay.
And a man named John McCron, he was driving his dump truck to a construction site because it was reported he needed some
field dirt.
Yeah, for his property. Because he was building a house or something for his family.
Yeah, I think so.
And he was literally in the process of doing this when it was reported that his truck got kind of stuck or something.
Like wet and muddy soil, yes. So
yeah.
He's kind of spinning up a little bit.
So he got out of his truck and went around the back, and that's when he noticed the edge of the property was a dead body.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And he was actually on the phone to his wife when all this was going on. He said, honey, I got to call you back.
Yep.
So he called the authorities, and the detectives and the crime lab and investigators, they swarmed the scene.
Yep.
And they got there pretty quick. And the body was skeletal for the most part.
Yeah. There was a little skin remaining on the chest, hands, and legs, and then there was some long blonde hair attached to the skull.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sad.
Yeah, it is.
But, there was also some small logs and branches that had been deliberately put on top of the body to try to conceal it from where it was. But then they noticed there was one single artificial ivy leaf near the body, so they knew exactly what it was.
They knew it was Chelsea.
Yeah.
And they contacted the family.
Right.
To let them know they found a body. That way they wouldn't be hearing it on the news first.
Right, because media was already showing up.
Yeah, they were.
They said, we don't know if it's her for sure, but we're going to give you a heads up that we found her. And they probably said we probably think it is, but, without being 100%, but just so you know. But
I just want to say this, too, about this police work up there. Everything I studied on this, man, these guys were doing their job.
Yeah. It's just kind of refreshing after the last few we've had where everything was dirty and hide everything,
Yeah, these guys were doing their job.
Busting ass.
Yeah, they were.
Mm-hmm.
But now they called in a forensic anthropologist, and they confirmed through dental records that it was Chelsea Bruck.
Yep.
They were also able to get some male DNA off of the leotard.
Right. So this news that just came in.
Yeah, so that's going to come into play just a little bit later.
Right. Well, they went ahead and took the DNA and they run it through CODIS, but they got no hits at all.
Nothing on it. And they even compared it to Eric and Harlan's DNA.
You're right. Cleared both of them.
Yeah.
So right now they're looking back at Big Mike,
Yeah.
Because and they went and asked him for it and he said no.
Yeah, I won't give you no DNA.
He wouldn't give it to him.
No.
And, and I get it. His reason was, I don't want my DNA in no database because I'm not a criminal.
That's what he told him.
And, and I just don't want to give it to you.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it made him suspicious, but then again, I see his point too.
Yeah.
Looking from the inside out or outside in.
I don't know what I'd do in that situation.
It looks like you could say, look, I'll give it to you on the one thing, mine don't go in no database and it's destroyed after you check it.
Yeah.
And then say you can go and check it against your sample.
Mm-hmm.
And when it don't match, you destroy it.
Yeah.
Now, whether they would do it or not, I don't know. But to me, that sounds like a reasonable
request.
Thank you.
Yeah. But now, this was about a month later, the medical examiner's office said they did have a cause of death for Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
And it was blunt force trauma to the face and head.
This makes me mad.
Yeah, there were several facial injuries sustained everywhere on her skull. And it was discovered that her jaw was broke when they actually observed that when they got to the...
Yeah, when they found her.
Yeah.
Immediately they could see a break in her jaw. I mean, a severe fracture.
And a lot of fractures around her eye sockets, too.
Yeah, specifically her eye sockets.
Mm-hmm.
They were just smashed.
So Chelsea had received a horrible, brutal beating, Dale.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a kill. I mean, she was beaten.
Yeah, bad.
Like we were saying, the detectives, they weren't telling any of this.
No, they didn't tell her family or nothing.
They kept this secret the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And they even kept it secret about the DNA they had found, too.
Right. Well, the family went ahead and had a private funeral, for her.
Yeah.
Right about the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, they hadn't said nothing to them about, everything they'd found out. But they just went ahead and to lay her to rest.
Yeah. Where they had found Chelsea's body on this property, they were doing some excavating, and this John McCrone was out there again, and he remembered he's building a house, and he found a red shoe that matched the one they had already had.
Right. So detectives went on out there to start moving dirt and see what else they could find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a match to the other red shoe that they had found.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then they found the green tights as well. So now, heck, they've got, everything.
Pretty much everything.
They got the body, both shoes, the leotard, and the tights. So it kind of makes you think, that one shoe that they found, only 2 miles from the party, you think she took it off and threw it out the window to try to
leave a breadcrumb?
Yeah, basically a breadcrumb.
Could have been.
It's possible, I guess. Because the rest of it, was either 9 or 10 miles away.
Yeah.
So make you think about it anyway.
Yeah. Now, in June of 2016, the police, they released some images to the media of a white man with a mustache from the Halloween party. And they received a tip early on in the investigation about this guy who showed up at a house at 3 a.m. on War Road where Chelsea's shoe was found.
Right.
And he'd shown up at this house pounding on the door.
That's just crazy, man.
Yeah, asking if he could
sleep in this dude's house.
Yeah, but he ended up passing out on the front porch.
Mm-hmm. He had said the next morning he got up and the guy had left his vest behind, and when he got to looking at the vest, there was a pocket knife and then some rope and stuff in his vest, which is kind of odd.
Very odd.
Well, it's not as odd as the dude beating the hell out of his door wanting to sleep at his house.
At 3 a.m., yeah.
Yeah, that'll get you you won't like the way I come to the door at 3 a.m.
But he said the guy came back to get his vest later.
Right. So I wonder if he called the cops and let them know about this stuff. Or
I don't know. I would have.
I would too. It's kind of odd, you know. But anyway.
But he gave him his stuff back.
Yeah, and the cops did look through some video footage and stuff, and they did find this guy on their partying and stuff with his vest and stuff. And ended up talking to him as well.
Yeah.
And they had scheduled a polygraph for this dude.
Yeah.
And they was getting ready to do that. And that's when the crime lab called.
And they got some DNA that matches the male DNA.
Yes, and guess what? We got a match.
Yes. And it was found on, like we said, on Chelsea's ripped leotards. And CODIS, who came up initially, said no match.
Right.
Then it ran again, and there it was.
Boom.
And it wasn't this dude.
Nope.
It was somebody who just got arrested.
It wasn't this dude. It wasn't Harlan. It wasn't Big Mike.
And he just got arrested. He showed up in the database.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not a mustache guy at the front door.
Right.
And it wasn't Harlan.
Nope.
And it's not Eric.
That's right.
But the DNA happened to belong to a man named Daniel Clay.
Mm-hmm.
He was 27 years old, and he's just a random dude, man. He didn't have a permanent address. He's almost kind of homeless in a way.
Kind of like a drifter guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'd been living or staying in this area for a little while, but I think he'd just been bumming off of folks' girlfriends and just doing what he could. He didn't have, like I said, didn't have a permanent address. He just kind of
unemployed,
mooched off of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, didn't have a job.
He'd been arrested half a dozen times on things like assault, credit card fraud,
battery.
Just different things.
Yeah, just kind of like a low life, kind of nothing, just hanging around.
Now, in May of 2016, he had been arrested for stealing a backpack full of tattoo equipment.
I guess stole it from somebody, and I think he was trying to sell it.
Yeah.
And that's when he got caught.
Because that's how his DNA ended up in the system.
Yeah, and it's really a lucky break because they had just changed the law right before this, because before you had to be convicted of a felony to have to give up your DNA.
Yeah.
And now they had changed it to anyone who was arrested for a felony, and this being the larceny of stealing all that stuff ended up being a felony. So that's how they got his DNA.
Yeah.
Just because he was a dumbass and stole the backpack. And then when they took him in, took his DNA, and that's how it popped up.
Mm-hmm.
So if he never would have done that, they probably never would have got this guy.
Yeah. So that's when they went to find him. And in July of 2016, he was homeless and had 2 warrants out for him for unpaid child support.
Yeah, so they was pretty smart here. They went and picked him up for that.
Yeah.
They didn't tell him what the deal was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they found him at his new girlfriend's house. I think it was a mobile home. Her name was Kelly Richter. And the police banged on the door. I think they were out there for a while.
And then he ran out the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when they run him down and they arrested him.
Yes.
But what was crazy, though, he was in the house the whole time, and it was a friend of his girlfriend's in there in the shower, and he busted in on her and said, "I'm going to prison."
She probably said, "You going to go to the graveyard, you don't get out of here."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
They interviewed Kelly, his girlfriend at the time, and she was very cooperative and supportive. And that's when they searched the mobile home, and they found Chelsea's undergarments and jewelry.
And some other personal items.
Yeah.
So he's keeping trophies here?
Yep. Yes, he is.
Yeah, so then they take him down to interview him, starting off, asking him about the party.
Yeah.
And he denies knowing Chelsea.
All from the very get-go.
Yeah, he didn't know nothing about her, don't know nothing.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, why do you have her underwear? I mean, come on, man.
Mm-hmm. But this guy was making himself out to be like a ladies' man.
Yeah, well, they talked to him, like I said, they said they was going to arrest him for those other warrants. And when they first started doing the interview, they, just got to talk to him, got a couple questions, and then that's when they brought up the Halloween party, and he kind of, yeah, I was there. Do you know her? No, I don't know her. Then they start turning up the heat a little bit. So, like, well, so there's no reason that, your DNA would be on her clothes or on this. No,
not at all.
So you don't know her, never had sex with her, nothing. Nope, not at all.
Nope.
So, and then they go, well, wait a minute. So your DNA is on her clothes here.
Yep. And that's when he said that they did have sex.
Right.
Well, he actually said that he had sex with a girl. He didn't know her name. Yeah. So he's changing the story as it goes along, Dale.
Right, but they still got a secret here because,
They just said they got DNA.
Right.
They didn't say what it was.
Yeah.
But like I said, he's assuming that it's semen is what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because he knows what he did.
But he's bringing up the sex part. But what's funny is they actually admitted that it was just skin cell DNA.
Yeah. So after that, he said he had sex with her and it was consensual. And then he said, later he saw her and she wanted to ride home and they went somewhere else and then she wanted sex again or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but the whole time they known that it was skin cells from where the clothes were torn. It wasn't even semen that they found.
Yeah.
So he just kind of told on himself.
Yep. And then they played another little game too with him. They told him that Chelsea's mom had told the police that Chelsea had this weird condition with her bones. It was called brittle bone disease.
Yeah.
And then Daniel sort of perked up a little bit.
It's like, oh, I got a way out here.
Yeah, I see a doorway right here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he came up with the little thing that they were having rough sex.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to have rough sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that second time through, he's like you said, dude, had sex in his car and then he gave her a ride somewhere else. And then the second time, she wanted to be a little rougher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what his deal was.
Yeah. But that's pretty brilliant.
Yeah. And, that's when he said he had hit and strangled her and he choked her and she went limp. But it must have been because she had that damn brittle bone disease.
Yeah.
Because he didn't choke her that hard. He said he only choked her for 20 or 30 seconds and she just went dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he did say that he then attempted CPR.
Yeah.
And
banging on her chest.
Yeah. Trying to save her.
Trying to save her.
Yep.
He's just that kind of guy. He said he was a guy of the 70s. He was a peace and love guy. All he liked to do was smoke weed and have sex.
That's what he said, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't into violence at all.
That's what he told him.
That's what he told him.
Even though he'd been arrested for assault.
And battery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so after, he said you said that, he said he was trying to do CPR and stuff. So then after he had self-admittedly beat her in the chest, however he did it, whatever he's doing, trying to save her
CPR,
life.
yeah.
Yeah, whatever he's saying. He said she didn't ever revive, so he kind of freaked out and he put her back in the car.
Yeah, and he didn't know what to do with her.
Didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
He definitely didn't want to take her to the hospital because, that's what you would normally do, right?
Exactly.
So he just said find himself just driving around the area for a while until finally he just took her to where they had found her and dumped her out and hid her under some branches so nobody would see her.
Yeah.
And he said he had no idea how her costume ended up where it was.
10 miles away.
10 miles away. Yeah, his story was that, it was consensual and she had taken off her own clothes and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it was all bullshit and they knew it.
But the police had made up that story about the brittle bone.
Yeah, it was all a lie.
Yeah, just to get more out of him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, they made it up, so it's pretty clear that none of this was was an accident. So he was arrested right then.
Yes.
And another crazy thing, Chelsea's best friend Becky, who worked at
Olga's
with her, had told another co-worker about Jessica, and it turned out that she was one of Daniel Clay's baby's mamas.
Yes.
Like, whoa.
Yes. There's just a few degrees of separation between all these people.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And then it makes you wonder, did this guy, did he know all along that they were going to this party? Did he have something for her? Did he, was it a random meetup in the middle of 800 people, or did
he know that she was going to be there?
This is going on the whole time. Right.
Yeah. It's very possible. Yeah. It makes me think that he knew that she was going to be there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because it's just too odd.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, we go back to, he pled not guilty because, his story, it was accidental. He had choked her for 20 to 30 seconds, and basically everybody didn't know that's what's happened.
Yeah, but he went on trial for this murder deal, and the family had to sit there in the courtroom and listen to all these lies, and have to listen about their daughter and her sex life.
Yeah, after you already know she's just been beaten to death.
Yeah.
I mean, really beaten to death. And then, the defense thought that would be a good thing to do, have people come in and then talk about her sex life.
Yeah.
And how she wanted it or how it was or whatever, everything.
Yeah.
The judge kind of shut that shit down, though.
Yeah.
Which is, kudos to him.
But that's when the prosecution took the costume out of the bag and they turned it inside out and they found bloodstains all on the inside of the costume. Yeah.
And the straps were torn and the crotch was ripped out.
Yeah.
And it said, so you say it was all consensual and she had taken the costume off by herself. Well, this here shows that that's not possible.
Exactly.
Right. Especially, she was super proud of that thing. She wouldn't have messed it up, especially by ripping the crotch out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was full of blood on the inside, so she was beaten pretty bad.
Now, on May the 16th of 2017, Dale, this wasn't too long ago, the jury found him not guilty of first-degree murder.
Right.
But there was there was a second charge for killing Chelsea while sexually assaulting her, which was a felony murder.
Yep.
And they found him guilty.
Yep.
Which is really more, really.
I was going to say it's a better charge, but yeah, like you said, it carries the same weight as the first degree murder, but also tacks on the sexual assault.
Yeah.
So it's actually a worse charge. I
It
guess you
is.
should say. Yeah.
And they also found him guilty of concealing a dead body.
Yep.
All right, Dale, now we've got a clip here we're going to play of the judge during this trial of what he said to Daniel Clay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go.
What's very clear to me, Mr. Clay, you're a liar, a rapist, and a killer. This is a sentence to this court that you be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Well, I guess that pretty much sums it up, Dale.
That sums it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need more of them kind of judges.
Yeah, we do.
I'm telling you. So he got a sentence in court, be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Yep.
Yes.
So he's going away for a while.
Yeah.
Now, during the victim impact statements, Dale, Chelsea's mom, Leanda, was there, and she read a statement, and she also presented Daniel Clay with a Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And she told him that she forgive him for killing her daughter.
Right.
Yeah, she was a very devout Catholic woman, very religious. And she said, there's no way I can move on with my life without forgiving you.
Yep.
But that's just
You know, and if I just try to forget you, then that makes me like think that Chelsea didn't even exist and that her life didn't mean anything, and I damn sure ain't gonna have that. So,
yeah.
so I have to forgive you so I can move on with my life. Wow.
Yeah. That's a tough woman, man.
Yeah.
Yep. But that is the story of Chelsea Bruck.
Chelsea Bruck.
Yep.
Sad, sad.
It is. But they did, with some good police work and good detective work, they were able to solve this case and put the killer behind bars, and he's there for the rest of his life, man.
Yep. Thanks to Curtis.
Yep. All right, Dale. We are going to get out of here, bud.
Let's do it, bro.
We want everyone to be safe, be careful, and remind all the women out there, if you go to a party, if you go to a get-together, leave together.
Yeah. Not only men, I mean women, but men too. Any of your friends, whoever you go with, bring them home.
Yep.
Because the next episode could be about you.
This is
Crack
Crack House
House Chronicles.
Chronicles.